Are the health and wellness of yourself and your family important to you?
We live in a world where no one really wants us to be healthy. If they really wanted us to be healthy, they would outlaw most of the pharmaceuticals they sell us.
You know, it seems to me that the pharmaceutical industry is kind of putting a bandage on a gunshot wound. You know, they're stopping the bleeding, but they're not taking out the bullet. Repeat customers. You know, they want people coming back. They want to make sure that you keep going to your doctor every week, refilling your prescription, and if you're not getting enough, then to get more. It's never about identifying why you're depressed. It's giving you a pill to make sure you're not depressed.
The question that I've frequently asked is, what's wrong with the FDA? First of all, it's an organization that is completely corrupt, revolving doors left and right to the pharmaceutical industrialists that literally are poisoning humanity. The Food and Drug Administration, it's a misnomer, is not in the business of protecting the consumer's health and safety. They don't do that.
If a law were passed requiring you to get a prescription for basic vitamins and supplements, would that concern you?
Codex Alimentarius is basically just a massive re-regulation of food, nutrients, minerals, and vitamins that are going to be allowed into our bodies, I guess. They spin it and say, oh, we need this Codex Alimentarius to make sure that you're healthy. And then you see what they're going to be limiting. Oh, well, now we're going to have all this genetically modified food, and they're going to be able to pump whatever hormones they want into it, and you won't be able to get fresh orange juice because it won't have gone through their pasteurization system.
I know in Germany when the Codex came through, if you want a simple 50 milligram vitamin C, first you have to go to a doctor. Then the doctor has to prescribe it. Then you pay, instead of $250 or $350, you pay $75. So what does that do for the vitamin C? You're not going to use it. That's exactly what they want. They find new ways of making the public sicker and making more money on it.
Would you find it interesting to know that one of the most versatile plants in existence is also widely illegal?
Well, hemp and cannabis are in the same family, but they develop much differently, and there's a whole different set of chemicals within each one of them. Hemp, of course, Henry Ford was famous for producing hemp products. He wanted to produce a vehicle that was completely made out of hemp. The fabric itself is incredibly strong and durable. In fact, all the ropes on the old sailing ships for thousands of years were hemp.
Want to learn how science is finally proving the existence of consciousness?
Well, I mean, the simple fact of it is that all matter is energy condensed to a slow vibration, and that every different element of matter, if you want to call it that, has a different vibration. And we as human beings embody many of these elements and different pieces of matter. And so each human being has a unique vibration and a unique frequency. Well, when this was discovered in the early 1900s to mid-1900s by people like Royal Raymond Rife, Nikola Tesla, they were discovering the vibratory nature of our physical reality. And they said, wow, the liver has a frequency, and when it's off the frequency, it gets dis-ease. But if we can put the liver back on frequency, it's healthy. It's heal thyself, right? So it's all about knowing thyself and knowing what vibration you're supposed to be on. And every piece of propaganda, every piece of corporate news tries to affect our vibration. They do this very manipulatively, overtly and covertly, in Hollywood and in newscasts.
The world continues to awaken.
I mean, I started We Are Change 2.5 years ago, not expecting it to even grow out of New York. We have 130 chapters as of right now all over the world of people just taking this idea and going with it everywhere. Ireland, England, Germany, Switzerland, Greece, Canada, all throughout the United States, all over the world, people are waking up and taking back their humanity. And that's the most important thing in this life, is being able to be free, empowered, and being out there, being able to do what you want as long as you're not hurting somebody else. That's what life is really about.
There's so many things that are happening that are that need to be talked about and exposed. And I feel like I have this vehicle, so I might as well use it to the advantage of just pushing knowledge forward when there's such a void in that within the mainstream media. and music. Yeah. And I also feel like, if I'm going to say something and people are going to listen, I don't want to waste people's time. So I want to say something that is relevant and, hopefully they can get into and research for themselves.
Coming to terms with our old beliefs.
Well, definitely we need to grow up. Most people have been conditioned to just think about themselves and to trust their leaders and not really look at what's really happening in the world. And most people have also been conditioned to concern themselves with trivial things, and they're hardly capable of thinking in larger terms.
Corporations are really starting to turn around and realize, wait a minute, our consumers are becoming a little bit smarter and a little bit more knowledgeable and in regards to the food that they're consuming, and maybe we should start actually catering to those people, and it's slowly starting to happen.
As we understand, we've been betrayed.
Through studying the ancient Mayan culture and what they really believed, the ancient Mayans didn't believe in any apocalypse. Everything was cyclical. They didn't have this new age interpretation that, everybody's going to rise up and disappear. And, a lot of people still think that the Mayas disappeared. Well, there's 10 or 15 million Maya living today, so they obviously didn't rise up and disappear if they're still alive.
So scientists are in their lab and they're all trying to figure out ways of making new chemicals to help certain issues, right? But they can't patent it if it's natural. So they take what is natural that works, and then they synthesize it, and then they patent it. They find what is the thing, what is that one thing, the component in that natural remedy to actually cure them of that ailment, that symptom, and then extract it, and then manufacture it on their own, and then put it in a capsule or a pill.
I don't think people realize that all pharmaceutical drugs come from plants, which we call herbs. And pharmaceutical drugs are basically taking the active compounds out of the plant. And you can take the active compound out, and that's what makes the appear so powerful. But what you're actually taking out are all the stabilizing agents. And without the stabilizing agents, you have side effects.
The anticipated sequel to Hijacking Humanity. From executive producer Craig Brocky and writer-director Paul Verge, reflect on the tragedy and realize the hope.
Because the bottom line, the very bottom line of this whole global conspiracy is and has always been to sell people a false identity of themselves. From cradle to grave, you are told you are the body computer. That's who you are. Once you get one generation believing a certain thing, they pass it on to the next generation, not through malevolence, but because they think that's how it is. And what you've got, therefore, are people going through an entire lifetime, all over the world, virtually, being told that they are their spacesuit, if you like.
They know that if they don't weaken our immune system, our brain might actually function and fire their ass.